You are audible. I will give YouTube, then you can start now.
Okay.
Good evening to you all. This is Veer Maheshwar Charitable Trust, Latur MS India, organizing daily international webinar series. This series is running from last 5 years, and we are inviting the speakers from India and abroad. These speakers are from the faculty, arts, commerce, science, engineering, law, and they are delivering their topics every day on different topics as per their choice. Today we have invited Dr. Reena V. Rathod ma'am, who is Assistant Professor, Ganpat University, Mehsana, India. And she will speak on the topic role of chemistry in human life. I welcome you, ma'am, and all the participants, those who are joined here. Since our life is related to science in equipments like that, the chemistry is the ingredient and important part of life in every daily use of our, maybe in cosmetics, in food, or any fertilizer. So everywhere is mostly we are using the chemistry topic and the applications of the chemistry, so that this topic is related to all and should be known everyone what is the role of chemistry in human life. I welcome you, ma'am, and request you can deliver your topic, role of the chemistry in human life. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for such a nice introduction and welcome remarks. Uh, Good evening to all of you. Today I'm going to present the role of chemistry in human life, how the chemistry impact the human life. I hope I'm audible to all of you. I'm going to share my yes, thank you, sir. I'm going to share my screen. Please let me know if whether my screen is visible or not. Right? Okay. Uh, I hope this screen is visible. Yes. Okay. So, good evening to all of you, one and all present. Today I'm going to deliver the talk on the role of chemistry in a human life. So currently I'm working as an assistant professor of chemistry at Ganpat University. So this talk is a general, so I try to uh, keep it normal for the people who can understand or who belongs to the non-science, they can understand well. So before starting the role of the chemistry in the human life, let us discuss little bit about the chemistry. Okay, what is chemistry? Right? So we can see that chemistry is a scientific study of matter, its proportion, composition, structure, and the change it undergo during the reaction. It is often called as a central science because it is connected to the biology, physics, geology, engineering, and environment sciences, right? So we can say that chemistry is basically a study of a matter, atom, molecules, and chemical reaction, right? So, what is a matter? Here, if we talk about the chemistry, the basic thing is that we have to focus on the three things: matter, atoms, molecule, and chemical reactions. So, what is matter? The matter is anything which occupy the space, right? So we can say that matter is anything which have a specific mass and that occupy the space. For example, air, right? So air is something which have some mass and occupy the space. atoms and molecules. So in that case, each and every atoms and molecules are responsible for the chemistry. Chemistry, if I say the chemistry, so chemistry is because of atoms and molecules, right? It is all about how these atoms and molecules get combined, how they form the bond, and after that how it get to arrange, right? And based on that it form a different types of components, different type of compound, and it shows the different types of chemistry, right? So here a basic example of a chemical reactions I can see is that here I have shown the pictures of banana, right? It is a basic things and we had seen this often. One is an unripe banana, that is a ripe one, and that is overripe, right? So we can say is that with the time, right, it get in different composition, right? We can observe that the color of the banana has been changed, right? Now the color of the banana changed. We can observe here, but why it changed, right? That is nothing but called some reactions, right? Here I can see that it is a reaction, it is effect of moisture, right? It is the a reaction or it is a presence of some chemical components which make the reaction with the moisture. With the time it changed the color of banana, right? So we can see is that the reaction of the banana is one type of a chemical reaction. Although we had not seen a chemical reaction ever, we don't know anything about the chemical reaction, but we had all seen this one, right? And we can see that it's often happening, and we had seen it. Now, what are the chemicals, right? So chemical reaction, then post that we can discuss that what are the chemicals. What is chemical? So we can say that chemicals are any substance which define the composition, right? So any substance which have some composition, that is known as the chemicals. Chemicals are made up of atoms, molecules, and the ions. Right? I'm here. I'm not going to discuss that what is atom, what is molecule, what is ions, right? Because it will be another the core of the chemistry. But what I can see is that we frequently read the word chemical, right? There are chemical in the substance, right? There are extra amount of chemical is there. They use some chemicals to make this look like a more greener, right? They use some chemicals or some type of injections to ripe some fruits, right? That we had often used that word chemicals, right? So what is chemicals? So in a simple terms, if I say is that chemicals, so we can say is that chemicals are any substances with a defined composition, right? It must have some proportion of different types of atoms and molecules or the ions in that, right? For example, so the question arises: does every chemical is everything is a chemical? So the answer is that yes, everything is a chemicals. For example, water is some type of chemical which is combined by the oxygen and hydrogen in a some proportion, right? We can see is that if the proportion of hydrogen is a 2 and proportion of oxygen is 1, and if it combine, it made water. If we talk about the oxygen, we breathe, and due to that, we are surviving, right? So, oxygen is also a one type of chemicals, right? So, here we can say is it is a molecule of oxygen, the two atom of oxygen combine and it form the molecules. But ultimately, it is chemical. Salt, right? Namak. The salt which we used in our daily life to enhance the taste and for the taste, that is a NaCl, sodium chloride, right? It is also a chemical which is made up of the sodium and chloride, right? Here the sodium and chloride both are in the ionic form. Sugar, right? That is also one type of a chemical compound which is also we use in our daily life. Apart from this, we can say is that DNA, right? Our body basic structure, air, which we use to survive, gold, silver, right? Each and every metal, each is a chemical, right? So we can say this all are the chemical, but difference is that it is made up of some different types of molecules or atoms, right? For example, water is made up of the oxygen and hydrogen. Oxygen is made up of the oxygen only. Sugar is again made up of the carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, but in a some defined composition. Suppose this composition has been changed, so the compound will be changed. For example, if I put potassium in a place of sodium, that will be a KCl, right? So now there is not a NaCl. If I take a C5, so that will be not a sugar, that will be a glucose, right? So here I can say that the everything is a chemical, but it is in some different, it is a different arrangement of atoms, right? And it in a defined form, right? For example, silver, if I say silver, so pure silver is only Ag, right? The atom of a silver metal. But if it combined with the gold, so it will create some mixed matter, right? So now the proportion will be changed. For example, you have heard about the 24 karat of gold, 22 karat of gold, and nowadays 9 karat gold is in the market, right? So gold is there, but what happened, how this carat has been divided, it is divided on the proportion of the gold, right? So here what I can say is that everything is a chemical, whatever we see, whatever we are using, but it is in some defined form. So, does all the chemicals are toxic, or only man-made chemicals are toxic, right? So, or the another question is that only man-made the chemicals. Does chemical made in the nature or not? Right? So what we can say, the naturally occurring substances like water, vitamin, and oxygen are also chemicals too. Right? So, but these are not toxic. These are beneficial to the human, right? So, can we understand that, or can we assume that the naturally occurring chemicals are safe to use, or we can see that okay, all the naturally occurring chemicals or the compounds are beneficial to the humans? The question is absolutely no, right? Not all the naturing occurring compounds are beneficial to the humans, right? For example, poisonous mushroom, right, are naturally occurring but are dangerous to the human life. Versus, I can say is that the penicillin, which is made by the human and are synthesized in the laboratory but are safe to use for the human and are useful to prevent some disease, or it is used to cure some disease, right? So what we can say is that not all the natural chemicals or natural compounds are safe to the human, and not all the chemicals synthesized in the laboratory are dangerous to the human life, right? Another example of the synthesized chemical is that dilute HCl, right? The HCl is a acid, hydrochloric acid, which is a dangerous, right? But if we use a diluted HCl less than 0.5 percentage, it is used as a digestive aid, right? It is used for the digestive aid. But if we increase the concentration of hydrochloric acid, or we used some concentrate hydrochloric acid, it will be burn the skin, right? Generally the concentrated hydrochloric acid contain the 38%, 36 to 38% of HCl in that. But if it will drop down on your skin, so it will burn your skin, right? So what we can say that all the chemicals is not dangerous to the human, all the chemicals are not safe to human. And along with that, we can say that the chemicals which used in the some proportion or required amount are beneficial to the human, but the same chemical compound used in the high concentration or the exceed concentration or unnecessary concentration, it will damage the human, right, in the various form. So what we can see is that the general misconception about the chemical is that the chemicals are always harmful. No, chemicals are not always harmful. And the second thing is that the general perception is that all the natural compounds are beneficial to the human body. The thing is that no, not all the chemical or not all the natural compounds are beneficial to the humans, right? It depends how you want to use, what you are using, and which proportion, right? So what we can see is this: everything which we are observing here, it's all are chemicals. The chemicals have a different types of chemical formulas, right? It is a different arrangements of atoms and the molecules, and all the chemicals are not safe for the human, right? Now, as our topic is to the role of chemistry in the human life, that we had learned something about the chemicals, but why the chemicals are so important to the human life, right? So if we see the body, even human body is made up of the chemicals, right? If you see the human body, it has a 62% of water, 16% of protein, 1% of carbohydrate, and the rest of the thing, 6% of minerals and 16% of the fat, right? You have frequently listened or you have observed that the many people are talking about the proteins, right? Nowadays, so many types of proteins are available in the market to build the body. And you have also read about the mineral deficiency, right? That is if the mineral is not sufficient, you use this product, your body will get these types of minerals, and that will be beneficial in this form, right? So you have a frequently listen about all this thing, right? So let us talk about the human body. So we can say about the human body that so 62% of water is there and only 6% of mineral is there. What are the beneficial minerals to the human body? So we can say is that there is a calcium, phosphate, right? Sodium, chlorine, magnesium, and apart from that, potassium and other minerals are beneficial for the human body, right? If we consider the amount of sodium in the human body is 0.02%, but suppose this amount has been increased, so we can say that you will suffer from the high blood pressure, right? Now, if what happened if other components, suppose the oxygen has been down in your body, we know that it directly causes the cardiac arrest, or we can see that oxygen deficiency is a very dangerous for the human health, right? Directly impact on the blood circulation in your body, right? So the defined chemical compounds or the defined atoms have a specific role in our body, and due to that specific chemistry of our body, we can be healthy. If the chemistry of a body is a disturbed, what happened? We are not well. And nowadays we are observing that a sudden heart attack is there, right? Sudden heart attack is that frequently we are feeling that we are tired, we are not healthy. Why? Because most of the time we found that the chemistry of a body is not well, right? So why chemistry is important there are many applications of the chemistry is there in the society, but if we look carefully, so we can say is that our body is also made up with different types of chemicals only, right? There's an element. What I can say is this: these elements are arranged in some way that it create different types of chemical compounds which are responsible for the various process in our body, right? Now, what is the role of chemistry in a human life? So we can say that the role of chemistry in a human life is very vast. When we start our day to we end our day, right? From the starting to end, we are using many chemicals, right? See, if I just combine or just conclude, so we can say that by when we wake up, we directly go for the brush. The toothpaste we are using is a chemical compound. The brush we are taking is a one type of a polymer. And at the night, when we are going to sleep, some may use some type of a night cream, right? That is also a one type of a chemical compounds, right? So what I can see is that whatever we are using in the daily life, it is all about the chemistry. For example, medicines, right? Whatever medicines we are taking, it is of some sort of a chemical compound, and that's why we know that the pharma company, right? And the role of that pharma company in our life. The cosmetic, whatever we are using, it is all about the chemistry, right? Whatever pigment, the lipstick we are using, some type of a powder, nail paint, right? Whatever we are using, that is made up of some sort of chemicals, right? Nowadays a recent topic is that natural or a chemical free cosmetics, right? But whatever, whether it is a natural or a synthetic, chemistry is always involved in that, right? For example, if you are using a natural pigment, so pigment will be pigment, right? So there will be some color chemistry will be there in that pigments, right? And that pigments also have some types of solubility or some type of a parameter, right? Whether it is a synthetic or chemicals. The next is a well-being products, right? Whatever we are using, that is a soap, detergent, uh, lotion, etc., right? So whatever we are using here, that all are some sort of chemicals. Apart from this is also a one type of chemical, although it is a natural chemical, but it is a chemical that packed food, right? Nowadays we are very addicted to this packed food, right? This all are the and this all are the fried fruits, or we can say that it is like a preservation or the preservative foods, right? So this all are the preservative food. In this, some amount of preservatives are added, right? So nowadays we are maximum using this type of packed food. Apart from this, we used to pack some type of a material to ready to cook foods or cooked food, right? So for example, if this biscuit is there, it is ready to eat, it is a cooked one food, right? We used a chemical to preserve this biscuit, and also we use a packing which is also made of some type of chemicals, right? So here also we use chemistry. So it is again we use some containers to store the materials, whether it is a glass or plastic, but ultimately it is made up of the some chemicals, right? Other than that, we are using a different type of a cloth or color, right? Which is also applications of a chemistry. Here, various type of dyes are involved to color the particular fabric. Even some fabric are also synthesized, right? It is so chemistry is involved everywhere. What from from the basic to advanced, right? So from the day we start to day we end, right? We are using lots of chemical in our day in a different form, whether it is in the form of medicine, food, cosmetic, or cloth, or something else, right? But ultimately everything is a made up of the chemicals. So what I can say based on that is that chemistry is a play a vital role in our daily life, and it is deeply connected to the human existence. It helps us to understand the composition, structure, and property of a material and change it undergoes. From the air we breathe, to the food we eat, to the medicine that heal us, and the material that build our world, chemistry influence almost everything around us, right? And that we can see from the previous slide that what is around us, it has been created by the chemistry only, right? So that we can see that the influence of chemistry is very high in our lives, right? So as I'm audible to all of you, as I'm connected, I'm sorry, I have to ask. Thank you. So role of the chemistry in human health. Very first we are going to discuss about the role of a chemistry in human life, right? So chemistry is a foundation of a pharmaceutical science. It helped to discover It helped to discover the discovery, design, and synthetic drugs of used to prevent and treat the disease. Chemicals, chemicals as a medicine, right? Antibiotics, antiviral, antipyretic, analgesic, and antibiotic drugs are made up of the chemicals. For example, I'm sorry, my cursor is not working. Wait 1 minute. Okay, so what I can say is the chemical as a medicine. So I can say that chemistry. The chemicals are used as a medicine. For example, antibiotics, right? So I can say that penicillin, tetracycline kill the inhibit the bacteria, right? So antibiotic drugs are used to kill or inhibit the bacterial growth. The second drugs is a antiviral. That is a, for example, remdesivir. It is used for the against the viral infection. Antibiotic drugs, for example, paracetamol, it is used to reduce the fever, and analgesic, which is used to reduce the pain. For example, aspirin and ibuprofen, right? So various type of chemicals are used as medicines, right? Different types of chemicals have a different types of applications. Sorry, just a minute. Okay. The chemistry to identify the disease. Chemistry is also used to identify the disease. For example, various type of tests are available to detect the presence of a particular disease. For example, blood and urine test or the analysis of blood and urine detect the glucose and urea, cholesterol and hormones present in a particular species. Biochemical test identify the enzyme activity and it also associated with the liver or kidney functions. If we talk about this, some imaging techniques based on the chemistry, so we can say the MRI, that is a magnetic resonance imaging, right, which is used to diagnose the muscles in the body, right, which is also one type of chemical properties of hydrogen. And based on that, we can identify the difference of a particular type of muscles, whether it is healthy or there are some damage in that particular things, right? So different types of tests are also available for the diagnose the particular disease. Apart from that, drugs, chemicals are also used as a nutrition, right? We had seen that tablets, that vitamin D tablet is there, vitamin C tablet is there, zinc tablet is there, multivitamin tablets are there, immunomax. Some chemicals or some tablets are available to enhance the immunity systems, right? So nowadays, what we can say, it is not only used as a different types of medicines, but it is also used as a nutritions. The chemical compounds are also used to control the drugs. Remember that curing the disease is a different and controlling the disease is also different, right? For example, cardiac drugs, right, which is regulate the heart function, right? For example, the drugs related to blood pressure, right, which is regulated the blood pressure in the human body. So what we can say is that there are some anti-acid drugs are there, cardiac drugs are there, antibiotic drugs are there, which are helpful for the betterment of the human life. Right, so it is confirmed and it is well known that chemistry is a highly useful for the human life, or it is a basic things to cure the disease. The next is we can say is that the clothing, the role of a chemistry in the cloth and textile. Now, this is very important. The role of chemistry in clothing and textile, right? This is a basic need. So, how the chemistry contribute in the textile? So, what we can say that chemistry contribute to manufacture of the synthetic fibers such as nylon, polyester, and rayon. This is a contribution of a chemistry in the manufacturing of the synthetic materials, right? Or we can say that a fiber or a particular type of a clothing material, for example, nylon, polyester, rayon, right? Apart from the synthetic material, chemistry is also used in the dyes, bleaching agent, and the detergent for the chemical products used in the textile. For example, whatever color we are observing on the fabric, right? It is a red, purple, blue. Whatever we are observing, that is due to some sort of a dye, right? If dyeing has not been done on the chemical on the particular material, it appears as a white, right? So the dyeing materials are some type of a chemical dyes, for example, methyl orange, indigo, right? Indigo is used to give the color, blue types of color, rhodamine B, right, which gives the I can say the pink color, right? So the purpose of dye is to give the color fabric, right? So whatever colorful we are observing around us, it is due to the dyes, right? Whether it is a color of the flower, it is also due to the dyes. And that if we talk about the color of a particular cloth, that is also due to the dye, right? What type of dyeing has been done on that particular materials, right? Sometimes you have observed that some materials have a very good color. It will not goes away with the wash. But sometimes you have observed that the color of the some material has been faded while the first wash. Why this happened? Because the chemical bonding of this particular dye, right? If it is stuck very strongly on with the fabric, it will give very good and deep color and it will not wash away while washing. But if some weak bonding is there, it will be washing away, right? So here what I can say is the chemical bonding of this dye on the particular cloth is very important for the color of the dyes, right? How it will remain on a particular cloth. The next one is a bleaching agent. You have frequently heard about this, right? Bleaching agents, right? So it is used to removing the color or the stain. Generally, hydrogen peroxide or sodium hypochlorites are used as a bleaching agents, which used to remove the stain on the fabric. There's again some type of chemical and detergent which is used to clean the fabric. For example, sodium lauryl sulfate, Triton X100 are the chemical components, right? Now we can discuss the some role of the chemistry in the food. What is the role of a chemistry in the food? So we can say that chemistry play a vital role in understanding the food, its composition, nutrition value, flavor, preservation, and how it interacts with the human body. It involves the study of chemical components in the food and changes they undergo during the process, storage, and the digestion. For example, we had seen this mango in every stage of our life. For example, it is a unripe mango. This one is a medium ripe mango, and this one is I can say the overripe or ripe one mango, right? That is completely yellow in the color. Now, question arises that if you have observed either, so it is that it is green in the color, and when you smell it, right, the smell is different than the ripe one, right? If you this middle stage, if you observe that it will be half yellow and half green, and the smell of this two is also different. So what we can say is that in the every stage, it is a natural chemistry, right? In the every stage of this mango, we observe that there are some color changes which is visible. Apart from that, some sensory means the smell of or the fragrance of a mango is a change with the type of mango. Why this happening? And what is the reason? So what we can see is that when we observe this unripe mango, it contains the high amount of acids, and that why it is sour in the taste. Right? With the time, that acid is converted to the ester, right? And when it converted to the ester, one can feel that very beautiful or sweety smell of a particular fruit, right? Most of the time, you have observed that very sweety smell of the ripe fruits, right? Why this happen? Because of the presence of the ester, right? So by the smell, we can see is that okay, it will be sweet or not. Why? Because it is a smell of a particular ester, which confirm that okay, now fruit is ready to eat, right? And with that, it change the smell and it change its taste, right? And it will be converted into the sweet. So what we can say is that even in the nature, when mango is unripe, it will be sour in the taste, it will be green in color, and if you smell it, it will be the smell of acid will be there. But once it will be ripe, right, it will be converted into the smell of ester, right? And the color will be changed, right? So that what we can say is that some type of flavonoids or alkaloids has been changed in that, right? So that is the chemistry of food which we observe, right? So that is what we can say, that is the chemistry of nature, right? Nature is also work on the chemistry, or what we can say, if you want to be a good chemist, although it is all the people are not belongs to the chemistry, but I always used to see in my student that if you want to be a good chemist, observe the nature, right? As you observe the nature, your perspective will be changed. The spices we are used in the food, right? The various spices we are using from the chili powder, haldi, etc., right? So what happened is that the different spices have a different active ingredient that is called active ingredient, which we generally used in the pharmaceuticals, which is responsible for the particular characteristic. For example, in the case of turmeric, the active ingredient is a curcumin, right? So what happened is that the yellow color and the activity of as antibacterial activity or medicinal property of turmeric is belongs to the curcumin, right? Now, if you see the structure of a curcumin, it is a hydrophobic, and that's why when we dissolve the turmeric into the oil, it create a crystal clear solution. While we dissolve the turmeric into the water, we observe some type of a suspended or colloid solution, right? And that's why it says that drink a turmeric into the milk. Why? Because milk has some of fat and it is able to dissolve the curcumin into that. The second things, for the non-chemistry people, you have observed that if we add this curcumin, turmeric into the food, right? Suppose if the person who is cooking or cook have made some mistake in the adding the turmeric to the food, it will give you some taste, right? The separate taste of turmeric you will observe in the food, but if it is added in a particular manner, it will not give the taste, right? For example, while cooking we used to add turmeric into the oil, because why? Because the active ingredient, that is a curcumin present in the turmeric, will be absorbed in the oil, and it will be beneficial for the human, right? And it will also create some clear, or I can say it will be directly dissolved in the oil, so it will not give the some separate taste, right? So that's why when we are cooking, see, when we are cooking, the chemistry is always present there, right? What I tell, whatever we are doing, every step of life, chemistry is there. So अच्छा ठीक है सर, कोई बात नहीं, बट एक्चुअली ये थोड़ा इंटरनेशनल सेमिनार था, तो आई डोंट नो अबाउट द पॉपुलेशन, सो दैट्स व्हाई क्या होता है कि जब भी हम यस यस सर, तो यहाँ पे क्या होता है कि जैसे हम हल्दी की बात करते हैं, तो हल्दी जो है वो हमारे इंडियन कल्चर में क्या है, डेली किचन में यूज होने वाला स्पाइसेस है, ठीक है? तो यहाँ पे क्या होता है कि जब भी हम हल्दी को लेते हैं, तो हल्दी के अंदर एक एक्टिव इंग्रेडिएंट होता है जिसको हम बोलते हैं कुरक्यूमिन। तो हल्दी की जो भी मेडिसिनल प्रॉपर्टी है, जो भी बेनिफिट है हल्दी के, वो किस लिए होते हैं? तो कि उसके अंदर जो कुरक्यूमिन प्रेजेंट है उसकी वजह से। तो कुरक्यूमिन क्या है? वो हाइड्रोफोबिक है। तो कुरक्यूमिन जो है वो पानी में डिसॉल्व नहीं हो सकता, ठीक है? तो उसको डिसॉल्व होने के लिए क्या चाहिए? ऑयल चाहिए। तो इसी वजह से जब हम कुक करते हैं, तो हमें हल्दी जो होती है वो जनरली हम किस में डालते हैं? तेल में डाल देते हैं। हम पानी डालने से पहले हल्दी डालते हैं, ताकि क्या होता है कि उसका खाने में टेस्ट भी अच्छा आए और उसका जो मेडिसिनल पार्ट है वो भी क्या हो जाए? एब्सॉर्ब हो जाए, ठीक है? और दूसरी बात क्या होती है कि हमारे यहाँ ट्रेडिशन है कि हम हल्दी को किस में डालते हैं? गर्म दूध में डालते हैं, और उस दूध का हम ऐसा बोलते हैं कि बहुत अच्छा होता है हेल्थ के लिए। तो यहाँ पे क्यों डाला जाता है? तो कि दूध जो होता है उसके अंदर क्या होता है? तो कि दूध के अंदर होता है हमारा फैट, तो जो फैट होता है वो क्या होता है, एक ऑयल पार्ट जिसको हम बोल सकते हैं, फैट इज ऑन इनडायरेक्टली वन टाइप ऑफ ऑयल, राइट। तो यहाँ पे क्या होता है कि इट इज वन टाइप ऑफ हाइड्रोफोबिक कंपाउंड। तो उसकी वजह से क्या होता है कि जो इस हल्दी में जो कुरक्यूमिन पार्ट है, जो मेडिसिनल प्रॉपर्टी है, उसको वो क्या कर लेता है, एब्सॉर्ब करता है, उसको डिसॉल्व करता है, और इसीलिए हल्दी जो होता है वो क्या होता है, दूध में डिसॉल्व हो जाता है, एक अच्छा सा मिक्सचर प्रिपेयर करता है, और वो हमारे बॉडी के लिए मैक्सिमम इम्पैक्ट देता है, राइट। दूसरा चीज अगर हम यहाँ पे देखें तो ये जो है इसको बोला जाता है सिनेमन, राइट। तो इसके अंदर तर्ज जो होता है उसके अंदर क्या होता है, सिनेमाल्डिहाइड होता है, ठीक है। तो वो जो होता है दैट इज वेरी बेनिफिशियल टू दी बॉडी, राइट। तो हम क्या बोल सकते हैं यहाँ पे, जैसे आप कोई भी स्पाइस ले रहे हो, एक सिंपल से अगर मैं रूल्स बताऊं यहाँ पे, बीइंग अ केमिस्ट्री पर्सन, तो मैं ये बोल सकती हूँ कि मोस्ट ऑफ द केमिकल्स आर soluble in the oil, right। वो क्या होता है, ऑयल के साथ अच्छा मिक्स होता है। अगर आपको उसका मैक्सिमम बेनिफिट चाहिए तो आप क्या करो, उसको ऑयल में डालो, जैसे हल्दी। फिर आपको मिर्ची का भी एक्सपीरियंस होगा, आप कॉमन जैसे हम कुक करते हैं तो क्या होता है कि अगर उसको हमने पानी में डाला तो वो खाने में भी सस्पेंडेड होता है, वो कलर नहीं देता है। वो कलर क्यों नहीं देता है, क्योंकि जो उसका मेन कैरेक्टर, जो उसका एपीआई है, वो वाटर सॉल्युबल नहीं है। वो किसमें सॉल्युबल है, ऑयल में। अगर आप इसको ऑयल में डालो आपको अच्छा कलर मिलेगा, व्हाई, बिकॉज इट इज डिसॉल्व इन दी ऑयल, राइट। तो मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम क्या होता है कि जैसे ही हम स्पाइसेस की बात करते हैं तो स्पाइसेस में जो भी कंपोनेंट है वो हमारे बॉडी के लिए बहुत अच्छा होता है। और दूसरा एक मिसकंसेप्शन होता है कि डोंट यूज दी ऑयल, डोंट यूज दी ऑयल। ऐसा नहीं है, आप जो है वो अच्छी क्वालिटी का ऑयल जो है वो कंज्यूम करें, कोई भी है। I'm not doctor, but being a chemistry person, I'm telling this because most of the spices are dissolved in the oil, right? And it is beneficial for your body, right? To keep your body healthy and to work properly, you require a good amount of a fat in your body, right? So always try to eat some good fat, for example, ghee, etc., right? तो घी जो है वो आप कंज्यूम कर सकते हो, दूध कंज्यूम कर सकते हो, उसमें क्या होता है, गुड फैट होता है। ये होना चाहिए कि वो प्योर हो, ठीक है। जैसे हम सैफरन की बात करते हैं जिसको हम केसर बोलते हैं, ठीक है। तो उसके अंदर क्या होता है, अल्फा कुर्क्यूमिन होता है, जो कि आप केसर को क्या करते हो, दूध में डालते हो ना, तो उसका जो येलो कलर देता है, येलो कलर कौन देता है, ये अल्फा कुर्क्यूमिन देता है, ठीक है। सिनेमॉन ले लेते हैं, उसमें क्या होता है, सिनेमाल्डिहाइड होता है, ठीक है। तो ऐसे ही हम बोल सकते हैं कि ये हर एक स्पीसीज जो होता है उसके अंदर पर्टिकुलर टाइप ऑफ केमिकल्स रहता है, जो कि ह्यूमन बॉडी के लिए क्या होता है, बेनिफिशियल होता है। और अगर आप इन सबको देखोगे तो ये सब क्या है, हाइड्रोफोबिक सम सॉर्ट ऑफ ऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स, एंड इट इज अ वेरी फ्रेंडली विद द ऑयल, राइट। एंड इसीलिए आपने कभी देखा होगा कि हम जब सिनेमन डालते हैं, किसी भी खाना पकाते हैं, तो हम इसको डालते हैं, तो हम इसको किस में डालते हैं, सीधा ऑयल में डालते हैं, ठीक है। क्यों, क्योंकि हमें यहाँ से ये निकालना है, ठीक है, इसको पानी में नहीं डाला जाता। तो इट इज अ केमिस्ट्री रिलेटेड टू द किचन, दैट इज अ एवरीडे लाइफ, राइट। एंड पर्सनली आई रिकमेंडेड दैट ईच एंड एवरीवन शुड टू अंडरस्टैंड, राइट, कि क्या होता है, हम क्यों इसको ऑयल में डालते हैं, जो भी हम खड़े मसाले उसको सीधा किस में डालते हैं, ऑयल में डालते हैं। किस लिए, तो कि हमें क्या चाहिए, बिकॉज वी वांट सम टाइप ऑफ केमिकल्स। आवर फोरफादर इज very much intelligent and they know what we are extracting, right? This is called as a extraction in the language of a chemistry, right? So what we can say is that chemistry is a help us, the understanding of a chemistry is a help us for the preparation of a better food, right? Apart from this, the same chemistry is useful to detect the adulteration in the food, right? Food जो होता है उसमें किस तरीके का अडल्ट्रेशन है, मतलब मिलावट किस तरीके की है, या जो आप जो भी यूज कर रहे हो प्योर है या इम्प्योर है। तो जनरली अगर हम नॉर्मल चीजों की बात करें तो यहाँ पे मिल्क की बात कर ले तो मिल्क में क्या होता है, यूरिया रहता है, राइट। समटाइम शैम्पू भी रहता है, स्टार्च भी रहता है, ठीक है। तो ये क्या होता है, अडल्ट्रेशन होता है। तो इसके लिए क्या कर सकते हैं हम, कुछ केमिकल टेस्ट जो है वो घर पे कर सकते हैं, तो आराम से हमें ये पता चल सकता है कि उसमें मिलावट है, प्योर है, इम्प्योर है, क्या नहीं है, ठीक है। जैसे आजकल जो मार्केट में आटा मिलता है, ठीक है, तो आटे के अंदर क्या होता है, किसकी मिलावट रहती है, तो जो चॉक पाउडर आता है ना, उस चॉक पाउडर की मिलावट रहती है। तो उस चॉक पाउडर को भी हम इजिली क्या कर सकते हैं, आइडेंटिफाई। क्या करना है, इसको हमें डालना है पानी में, ठीक है। अगर नीचे पूरा चॉक पाउडर है तो वो कैल्शियम कार्बोनेट के फॉर्म में निकल जाएगा। सिंथेटिक डाइज इन द स्पीसीज, तो जो भी मैंने अभी बताया, ये हल्दी पाउडर है या फिर चिली पाउडर है, उसके अंदर क्या मिलाया जाता है? डाइस मिलाया जाता है उसका कलर इन्हांस करने के लिए। सपोज इसको कैसे आइडेंटिफाई करें? मैं एक सिंपल सी ट्रिक बता रही हूँ, उसको पानी में डालो, अगर ये कलर छोड़ रहा है ना तो पक्का इसके अंदर क्या होगा? मिलावट होगी। कभी कभार क्या होता है, चिली पाउडर के अंदर डाई नहीं, उसका वजन बढ़ाने के लिए ये ब्रिक पाउडर जो ईट आता है उसका पाउडर बना के डाला जाता है। किस लिए? ताकि उसका वजन जो है वो ज्यादा हो जाए। अब इसको आइडेंटिफाई कैसे करें? तो इसको भी पानी में डालो, क्या होगा? और उसके बाद उसको छान लो। ब्रिक जो है वो पानी में कभी डिसॉल्व नहीं होगा, ठीक है? और उसको फिर आप हाथ से ऐसे ऐसे करोगे ना तो आपको पता चल जाएगा कि इसके अंदर मिलावट है। स्टार्च जो होता है वो घी में मिलाया जाता है, एनिमल फैट जो होता है वो भी घी में मिलाया जाता है, ठीक है? तो ये जो स्टार्च है उसके लिए सिंपल आप आर्डिन डाल दो, आपको पता चलेगा, ठीक है? इसके लिए सपोनिफिकेशन वैल्यू फाइंड आउट करना पड़ेगा, ये थोड़ा सा लैब में होगा, बट बाकी के टेस्ट जो है वो हम घर पे भी आइडेंटिफाई कर सकते हैं। तो केमिस्ट्री का जो हम डेली लाइफ में बोल सकते हैं ना, इट इज इक्वली इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर द आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ अडल्ट ट्रेंड, राइट? मिलावट जो है दैट इज नाउअडेज वेरी डेंजरस प्रॉब्लम, राइट? कुछ भी चीज जो है वो प्योर नहीं मिलती है, ठीक है? तो उसके लिए भी ये बहुत जरूरी है। आई एम अबाउट टू कंक्लूड इन द 5 minutes, right? Time has been completed, but I'm just lefting with the 2 slides. So I'm one more thing is some chemical fact we should to know. हमें कुछ पता होना चाहिए, कुछ केमिकल फैक्ट्स जो है वो हमें देखने चाहिए। जैसे कि कोलगेट, ठीक है, ये सब यूज करते हैं, बट क्या इट इज सेफ टू यूज? The answer is absolutely no, right? If you see the content, it is a representative example, ठीक है? इसका मेरे मतलब आई एम नॉट क्लेमिंग एनीथिंग, बट इफ यू रीड द कंटेंट, राइट, वॉट एवर, so you will find that the presence of a sodium lauryl sulfate is there, right? तो मोस्ट ऑफ द केमिकल टूथपेस्ट जो आजकल मार्केट में मिलती है तो उसके अंदर क्या होता है? सोडियम लोराइल सल्फेट होता है, विच इज नॉट बेनिफिशियल फॉर योर टीथ, राइट? उसका आपको दांत से लेके कुछ फायदा नहीं है, ठीक है? बट आपने ये सुना होगा कि बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे होते हैं जो मतलब कभी भी गुटखा या फिर पान मसाला वगैरह नहीं खाते, बट उसको ये कैंसर होता है, ठीक है? माउथ कैंसर होता है। कैसे होता है? तो द रीजन इज दैट मोस्ट ऑफ द toothpaste available in the market contain the chemical called the sodium lauryl sulfate, right? जिसको हम SLS बोलते हैं। तो ये सोडियम सल्फेट क्यों डाला जाता है? सोडियम लोराइल सल्फेट इसको इसलिए डाला जाता है जब आप, क्योंकि जब भी आप टूथपेस्ट करो, राइट, तो सुबह सुबह जो झाग आता है ना एक, तो वो झाग जो है, जो फोम जो है, वो किसकी वजह से? इट इज ड्यू टू द प्रेजेंस ऑफ अ सोडियम लोराइल सल्फेट, राइट? तो ये जो सोडियम लोराइल सल्फेट होता है दैट इज अ कैंसरस एलिमेंट, राइट? और उसकी वजह से ये जो है दैट क्रिएट अ कैंसर, एंड इट इज अ प्रूवन दैट one should not use the sodium lauryl sulfate. Although there are options are available in the sodium lauryl free toothpaste you can find and use, right? But my motto is that I'm not claiming anything on the Colgate, but my motto is that you should to understand, or you being a human being, you please read the content before using any type of a products, right? Because sometimes you don't know that what it contains, right? You think it is a very helpful for your teeth, but actually it is not, right? The next one is a that it really clean the cloth, right? This type of whiteners are available, many types of whiteners are available in the market, right? So it really clean the cloth? No, it is not that white. Your cloth will be not that white, but it seems to be white, it appear white, right? It is not white, but it appear white. Why? Because of this whitening agents, right? It is a fluorescent active materials. What it do? ये क्या करेगा? तो कि ये इस तरीके के जो केमिकल्स होते हैं ना, वो इस तरीके के डिटर्जेंट में मिलाए जाते हैं ताकि आपको आपका कपड़ा जो है वो व्हाइट दिखे। वो व्हाइट होता नहीं है, वो व्हाइट दिखता है। कैसे दिखता है? तो कि भाई इसको बोला जाता है सिंथेटिक वाइटनर। ये सिंथेटिक वाइटनर क्या करते हैं? तो वाइटनिंग एजेंट्स जो होते हैं वो फ्लोरोसेंट, जैसे लाइट उसके ऊपर पड़ती है तो ये क्या करते हैं? लाइट को रिफ्लेक्ट करते हैं, ठीक है? तो ये इमिट करते हैं, उसकी वजह से वो क्या दिखता है? व्हाइट दिखता है, वो होता नहीं है, ठीक है? तो यहाँ पे ये भी एक आपको थोड़ा सा पता होना चाहिए कि इट्स अपीयर, इतना अच्छा व्हाइट नहीं होता, थोड़ा बहुत इफेक्ट होता होगा, आई एम नॉट डिनाइंग एवरीथिंग, बट द मेन रीजन कि ये वो इतना चमकता क्यों है? बिकॉज ऑफ द whitening agent, right? Next is I'm going to conclude my talk as I have completed 45 minutes. So next is spiritual chemistry. क्या ये जो हम जेमस्टोन की बात करते हैं, इट्स रियली वर्क? आई मीन, आई एम नॉट आस्किंग अबाउट एनी बेनिफिशियल, राइट? नो सर, इट इज लाइक 5 मिनट्स हो. तो यहाँ पे क्या होता है कि जैसे हम बात करते हैं ये स्टोन वगैरह की, ठीक है, स्पिरिचुअल, बहुत टाइम आपने ऐसा सुना होगा कि आप ये स्टोन पहन लीजिए, ये स्टोन पहन लीजिए. तो मेरा यहाँ पे कहना ये है, मैं कोई एस्ट्रोलॉजिकल बात नहीं कर रही हूँ, पर क्या ये जो जेमस्टोन्स होते हैं वो क्या होते हैं, ठीक है? अगर आप जेमस्टोन को देखो तो वो क्या होते हैं, एक तरह के क्रिस्टलाइन कंपाउंड है, ठीक है? केमिस्ट्री की लैंग्वेज में इसको बोला जाता है क्रिस्टलाइन कंपाउंड. क्रिस्टलाइन का मतलब क्या होता है कि इसके अंदर जो मॉलिक्यूलर अरेंजमेंट्स होता है वो पर्टिकुलर पैटर्न में चलता है, ठीक है? और उसकी वजह से इसके अंदर एक प्रकार का, आप ऐसा बोल सकते हैं, ग्रूव्स जो है वो क्रिएट होता है. तो यहाँ पे क्या होता है कि आपने जनरली देखा होगा कि क्रिस्टलाइन कंपाउंड्स जो होता है उसका एक पर्टिकुलर शेप रहता है एंड इट रिएक्टिव टू द लाइट, राइट? ये क्या होता है, जो लाइट होता है उसके अगेंस्ट रिएक्टिव होता है. अगर आपने किसी भी, जैसे हीरे पे अगर आप लाइट डालो तो वो क्या करता है, शाइन करता है, ठीक है? व्हाई? बिकॉज ऑफ द crystalline nature and the particular arrangement of a particular atoms, right? So it will have some repetitive pattern is there, right? So what I can say is that each and every crystal is a specific response. It gives us some specific response to the light, right? जैसे कि रूबी को आप ले लो तो रूबी जो है वो स्पेसिफिक तरीके की लाइट को ही रिएक्ट करता है. तो उसकी वजह से क्या होता है कि आप ये बोल सकते हो, मुझे एस्ट्रोलॉजिकल पर्पस का तो नहीं पता है, बट हाँ हम इतना जरूर बोल सकते हैं कि जो नॉर्मल कंपाउंड्स होता है उससे क्रिस्टलाइन कंपाउंड्स जो होते हैं वो अलग होते हैं. और ये क्या करते हैं, लाइट जो होता है उस लाइट को ये रिएक्ट करते हैं, ठीक है? तो इसकी वजह से जो पर्टिकुलर वेवलेंथ जो है वो किसी भी ह्यूमन की बॉडी तक आती है, ठीक है? जैसे कलर थेरापी एक मेडिसिन है, वैसे क्रिस्टल भी एक मेडिसिन हो सकती है, राइट? तो इसका लॉजिक क्या है, बिकॉज क्योंकि इसके अंदर एक जो पर्टिकुलर मैनर में अरेंजमेंट है, वो अरेंजमेंट क्या करती है, पर्टिकुलर टाइप ऑफ लाइट को ही आपकी बॉडी के आसपास आने देती है और बाकी की लाइट को जो है वो वहां से डिनाई कर देती है, ठीक है? तो उस वजह से शायद माय असम्पशन इज दैट उस वजह से ये जो सफायर या फिर पर्टिकुलर टाइप ऑफ क्रिस्टल जो है वो वियर करने के लिए बोला जाता है, ठीक है? इट हैव सम मेडिसिनल प्रॉपर्टीज, राइट? तो यहाँ पे हम ऐसा भी बोल सकते हैं कि it have some properties there which is beneficial to the human, right? And again it is one sort of a chemical compound which is beneficial for the human, right? So thank you so much. If you have any question or queries, or if you want any discussion, you can let me know. And I'm really thankful to all of you that you have really enjoyed the lectures, right? Thank you so much, sir, to give the opportunity to present and to keep a view of mine on the against the audience. Thank you, sir.
थैंक यू मैम. इतना अच्छा प्रेजेंटेशन रहा कि उसके वास्ते हमें कंक्लूड करने की जरूरत नहीं, क्योंकि केमिस्ट्री तो हमारे लाइफ का पार्ट है. उसका अगर मर्यादित तरह से यूज किया जाए तो ये अच्छी है, और ज्यादा हुआ तो धोखादायक है. ऐसे हम खाने में कैसे केमिस्ट्री यूज करते हैं, हमारे डेली यूज में, फल में, फ्रूट में, मेडिसिन में, ये सभी आपने बहुत ही अच्छी तरह से हमको समझाया है. तो हमारे सभी दर्शक जो यहाँ उपस्थित है उनको मैं रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ, आप भी कुछ मैडम से डिस्कस कीजिए आज के टॉपिक पे. थैंक यू.
Hello. Good evening, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Thank you very much for very elaborative explanation about the chemistry. Um, Definitely, I think the life and the biology is also there because of the chemistry. If the
Yes,
elements are not coming together, you'll find the single cellular, unicellular organism will not exist, and of course, the things will be different. So I think chemistry comes first, and the biology. What I feel, and one question always remains in my mind is, there is a periodic table.
yes,
So
sir.
what is the importance of this periodic table and how they are classified in periodic table, how the elements are classified. Otherwise, you have discussed about various elements like, that our nutrition contain various minerals, vitamins, all they are chemical only, protein, fats, carbohydrate, all are chemicals only. And they are playing a vital role in the human body. And no doubt more than 50 elements are known to be present in human body. Some of the functions we are knowing, some of the functions what they are playing we don't know. As a doctor, we are also still searching for those minerals. So why some cobalt is there or why chromium is there, we are searching for that. But definitely as sodium potassium we are knowing well known role of this chemistry. Otherwise our heart
Yes,
will stop beating if the sodium
Yes,
goes down,
yes.
our potassium increases. So that is there, definitely it is very much part. Food additives, food adulterations also you have said very well. So food additives nowadays you'll find coloring, flavoring agent, preservatives. That is also one of the very important part you have said, because this is a day-to-day life chemistry we are dealing with. And no doubt, what kind of food we are eating, whether it is adulterated, whether it contains additives, one has to be very clear about this. And so my basic question is, we are also using so many chemical agents in our medicines, and so many things. Antibiotics are there, steroids are there. We have talked about minerals and vitamins, and all supplementations are also there. So, what is the importance, of this periodic table, and why, how they are ranked, how they are numbered? That is my basic question, because we try to relate. I was doing a study that suppose we are having a medicine phosphorus with us, and we try to find out the other elements in the row, but whether they are having similar features or they are having different features, or why they have ranked in that particular row only. So that is my question. Thank you, ma'am.
Actually, so what happened when we are talking about the elements in the periodic table? We arrange the element based on the number of protons and electrons present in the particular elements, right? For example, if we talk about the hydrogen, there will be only there is only one protons and one electrons, right? And that's why that is the number one in the periodic table. If you see the image of a periodic table, hydrogen is labeled as a number one element, right? Why? Because there will be only one proton, so it will be one, right? And one electron is there. If you go for the helium, there will be a two protons in the nuclei, so that will be two and so long, right? So the what I'm saying is that the arrangement of elements in the periodic table is based on the number of protons present in a particular nuclei, right? The second thing you asked is that if you go with a particular row or column, right, will it have a same type of characteristic or reactivity, right? So what is if you go with the same row, right? So what happened in the row? You find some if there is some P block elements, S block element, F block, D block, right? The elements are divided in the different types of a block, right? If you go with the particular block, you will observe the same type of characteristic. For example, if you go for the oxygen and then sulfur, right, both are the same type of a block, so it will have a little same reactivity, not exactly. The exactly same reactivity is never possible, but what I can say is that it will have some sort of the similarity. For example, if we go for the S block element, so we can find that in the case of alkali metal, sodium, potassium, lithium, so that they are they are very reactive, right? And they have a positive charge. So the basic funda is that the elements are arranged in the periodic table is based on the number of protons in the nuclei, and second thing is that their characteristic. right? The same type of valency gives the similar types of behavior, but not the same. It is little behavior same.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your elaborative explanation for this. And definitely, chemicals, when we are talking, they starts from inert to the most toxic substances,
Yes, sir.
organic to inorganic, exogenous to endogenous,
Yes,
and it is
yes,
a
sir.
big world of chemistry. Thank you very much for exploring this topic.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Swanand Shuklaji. You are also a chemistry person because from that your medicinal field. So it was expected that you should discuss very deeply with our resource person, madam. Thank you also. And also request to all the participants, those who are interested here, they can unmute themselves and they can discuss simple topic, simple questions in your mind. Thank you. थैंक यू मैम. आज भी मुझे पता चला कि गर्म दूध में क्यों हल्दी मिलाई जाती है पीने के लिए, और अपने जो मसाले है उसमें ऑयल में क्यों उबाला जाता है. ये बहुत सारी अच्छी बातें हमने आपको आपने हमको आज ज्ञात कर दी. बहुत सारे इसमें तो यूज होता है, मगर क्यों यूज करते हैं इसका कोई मालूम नहीं था. मुझे भी एक क्वेश्चन है कि जो अपनी मिठाई रहती कलरफुल, क्या उसको प्रिफर करना चाहिए या नहीं, क्योंकि जब कलरफुल हो गए तो मिक्स करते उसमें थोड़ा सा इधर उधर के ये कलर वो कलर, ऐसा जैसा बूंदी का लाडू है, कुछ रेड रहते, कुछ येलो रहते, कुछ ग्रीन रहते, तो वो दिखने में अच्छा लगता है. तो क्या है ईडिबल कलर कैसा रहता है और क्या नहीं रहता कलर ईडिबल.
सर कुछ कलर्स जो होते हैं वो एडिबल होते हैं और कुछ जो होते हैं वो नहीं होते हैं. बट यहाँ पे जिस तरीके से आजकल मार्केट में आ रहा है तो क्या होता है, एडिबल कलर्स भी जनरली कॉस्ट में थोड़े से हाई होते हैं. ठीक है, तो जनरली जो लोकल मार्केट में लोग प्रीफर नहीं करते, वो लो क्वालिटी के कलर्स ले आते हैं और फिर उसको डाल देते हैं. तो जब भी हम लड्डू या फिर ऐसा कुछ देखते तो कहीं बार इवन मोतीचूर के लड्डू है तो वो आपको इतने रेड दिखेंगे, मतलब वो दिखने में अच्छे लगते हैं, पर मेरे हिसाब से उसको खाना नहीं चाहिए और मत ही खाइए, क्योंकि डायरेक्टली अगर वो कलर नहीं है तो उससे क्या ज्यादा ही फर्क पड़ता है. बिकॉज न्यूट्रिशन वैल्यू जो होती है वो मेरे हिसाब से अनकलर्ड थिंग्स में थोड़ी सी ज्यादा रहती है. और वैसे भी हमें जो ये कलरिंग एजेंट है वो कुछ इतना न्यूट्रिशन वैल्यू देता नहीं है, तो उसका कुछ हमारे हेल्थ पे, मतलब ऐसे न्यूट्रिशन पे कुछ इम्पैक्ट नहीं आने वाला है. तो उसकी वजह से मेरा तो ये कहना है कि उसको अवॉइड किया जाए तो वो सबसे अच्छा है. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Okay.
Thank
Okay, so
you.
thank you so
Thank you,
much.
sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.